Hello and welcome in. So I'm going to be going through all of my coloring books that I have in my collection. I don't have a very large collection, but I think I have a pretty decent-ish one. At least it's a beginning one for me. What I wanted to do is basically take an inventory of what I have and fill in anything that I may need. Now, of course, I don't need anything more in my life, but I guess when it comes to coloring books, do we ever have enough? I'm learning maybe not. But also to find out, what coloring books do you have? Is there something that I'm missing in my coloring book collection? There's a couple things I'm on the lookout for, but let's dive in. It'll give me a chance to also do an inventory, which is one of my New Year's resolutions for 2025. So let's dive in. So this is a little bit of a story too of how I got started in coloring and my why behind it. A couple of years ago, about 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was a devastating time for me and my family. And when I went to have my first chemo, there were some gift bags that were there for me. And inside those gift bags were coloring books. And that was kind of my introduction into adult coloring. As a child, if somebody got sick, I remember my mom would go get a coloring book and some crayons. I only had one friend that was ever in the hospital when I was a child. So during those times when I was going through the chemo, I began to color. This was one of the coloring books that one, two, three, of a couple that I still have from that time period. This was in one of the bags that I received. And through that time, friends, people were reaching out. It was a very dark, dark time, but there were joyful times as far as people giving love and support. And this is why I love coloring, is because it marks, kind of some sad times, but more happy times. So we're going to move on to the happy times now. So this was the first coloring book, and inside this, there had been a pack of Crayola Creation pencils. And if I've got a picture of it, I'll pop it in or do a picture in so you can see what they were. And you know what? They actually are not bad pencils, but this is what I kind of got started in. And you see, the trend still continues. Start a picture and let's not finish it. But during that time frame, kind of my brain wasn't really working all the way during that process, but I began to try to relax during those time frames. This one I did complete. I was very happy that I completed it out, and I kind of had some fun. Now I'm not going to go through everything, but just kind of showing you some of the pages that when I first got started and, that kind of thing. And just, figuring out what I liked and what I didn't. And this was a really fun coloring book. This was the next coloring book that I had, and I loved this page. The pencils worked so great in this book, and I was like, wow, this is actually kind of fun. And so that is what kind of started my coloring journey, and the how and the why. How I got started was by circumstance, and then why I stay in it is because there are many different reasons why I and we color in the coloring community. One is therapeutic, and one is for stress relief. And right now, these were kind of my therapeutics. This was really cute. Somebody at my work, they had bought this, and it was just like, it was Wonder Woman. Hey, you got this, and you can conquer this. And it is that traditional child newspapery-ish paper. I still have this book. I've never colored in it, but I love this book just for what it represents. So some of these books that we have, sometimes they represent something. This was one that was always up kind of on my station when I would go in, and I would look at this and I would be like, focus, concentrate, you've got this. This one was in one of my bags that I had received from a friend, and I did a couple of pages in this one. I'd got some little teeny markers. They were the Crayola markers, and it was fun just to sit, kind of do this. block coloring where you line it out and you just kind of do this. But it was happy coloring. It was joyful coloring. It was to get your mind off of it coloring. Another really great book. Then I happened to be years later, I'd kind of put coloring away for a minute, and I was like, okay, I got to keep working, got to go, go, go. And then I turned to coloring after I had thought, oh, okay, I'm done with it. Then I turned to coloring as a way of stress relief. And I was in Hobby Lobby and I saw this. It was on sale for like practically nothing. And I bought this little book and I began to kind of practice coloring again and was like, okay, not bad. Using some of these pencils that I had in my packs. I pulled out the Crayola set and just started to have fun. This was when I wasn't really sure what I wanted. I was still trying to figure out coloring. You know, I really love the big, bold, bright color. So it was a little bit of pencil and a little bit of that, or pens. So I bought this book and I still love this book. At the time, I didn't realize this is a great book for pens. I was kind of figuring it out, but I hadn't figured it all the way out. Is it single-sided? I was just buying because it was like, okay, I want to be able to have some relaxation. And basically, I kind of like block coloring because I'm stressed. I got home from work and I just wanted to get it all out. So this is a book that I still have. I don't color in it too often, but I want to revisit it, but more in the pen. So these are the Zen Doodles from, who are they by? This one's Deborah Muir. Oh, this one's Deborah Muir also. Okay, so they were both the same. A lot of you guys, if you've been following me, you've seen this one. This is, I guess, oh, you know what? Let me center you guys a little bit better on this. This is truly the one that got me started. As I kind of bought those, I'll bring me down just a little bit. Amazon, had shown this to me and I bought it and I thought, hey, why not? I've shown this picture before. This is the only picture I've ever done in here, but I do want to get to this type of coloring. The Zen Doodly was kind of fun, but it's got its time and place, but this is more, I think, of my vibe, but it was just an overwhelming. And so this was kind of what got me started. I got this book. I didn't know how to color in it. And I was like, what do I do? And that's what led to everything else that you're going to see. These got me kind of started back in the day. This is what propelled me to go, okay, I have a clear mind now. I'm stressed, but I think this is something I want to try. And this is really what propelled me. And you guys have seen this one. I love this one. It's a great one. And this is going to be one that in 2025, I really want this to be at the top of my list. I love this book. It's a super cute book. Really love that one. I do have a flip through, so you can go and look for that in there. But I love these two books. They are kind of my big reach. This would be the book that it's like, hey, this is what I want to reach to and be able to color in. And as I always say, it's just paper. It's not that important, but we do want to enjoy our coloring time. And so these two books are going to go into 2025. So then this is where I kind of got started. This is such a big stack. Look at that. I'm going to have to separate it out. But as all good colorists, when we get started, we start to try to search out what do we have, what's available to us. And I just started to try to figure out, why can't I color? Why am I getting lines? Why do I see the white behind the paper? And it wasn't until then that I learned, okay, there is a difference between paper, there's quality of paper, style of paper, mediums that you're going to use, and all of that. So these are in no particular order, but I began picking up Joanna Basford books. This one's really cute. It's the Mini Enchanted Forest. It's so tiny. When I bought this, it was an early on book. I didn't realize how tiny, because, okay, so this is the normal size Joanna's. For you that are maybe new, this is the Small Victories. And then this is what the little mini. So it's almost as wide as Joanna Basford's little mini, but it's really there. So you look at how cut off this is, like, or not cut off, how tiny. Fine lighter pens are going to be what's best for this. I've yet to color in this book because, again, I was looking online, and sometimes online, just until you know what you're doing, you don't know what you're doing. And I can't even say I today know what I'm doing. But this is definitely a book I love. I mean, who doesn't love her stuff? This is the reason why she's like probably number one behind maybe Kirby would be kind of my guess. But it's because the drawings are so wonderful. The paper in this is just divine. And as a beginning colorist, there we go. As a beginning colorist, I would say if you're looking and you're trying to figure out what should I start with, I did a video that you can go in and look, and it's like how to get started. And it depends on the medium that you want to use. But if you want tutorials and you want color alongs, I would get a Joanna Basford book, go out and see where the tutorials are, and you can kind of get started. And that's how I got started. One of these books, I saw something on Pinterest. It led me into YouTube, and I've talked about it before, and it's in one of these books. And that's what got me started. It got me the confidence to move forward. So small victories, I think we all have this. This book is almost complete for me. Like, I shouldn't say I'm almost, but when you look at how much is completed in here, there really isn't a whole lot. So maybe for 2025, I would like to get that one completed out. Magical Worlds. This is as of the time of this taping, Magical Worlds is the most recent of Joanna Basford. This is a great book. I have really been enjoying it. When a new book comes out, we all just like go, gotta have it, and they start coloring. I think some of you out there, you already have finished this. I'm like, wow, you guys are coloring geniuses. And this is one that we have been doing a global buddy color out of. And so this one, it will probably go into 2025 also for me. This I picked up about 3 years ago, and for the last 3 years, I've been coloring in it at Christmas time. I will say I miss the books. I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is considered a dust cover or a flap or a fold out. I don't know. But I really do miss the books that don't have this. And I'm sure there's a really good reason, and it's just me. I'm just fussy. I'm fussy that way. I like little nuances, little packaging things. But this is a great book. And once I finish this, if they're still available, I will probably go and purchase another one. There are a couple books that, you know what, I don't mind picking them up again and doing them just because they're fun. It's a ton of fun to be able to find those artists and the paper that you really like. And I have to say, I have started to become a little bit of a paper snob. I'm trying not to be that way, but paper just makes it so much easier sometimes. Then I picked up this book, and I think this was the first one. Let me look at the rest of them here. I think this may have been my first Joanna Basford because it was The Lost Ocean. I love anything ocean. Obviously, being a Nixie, we like the oceans. I do like this because it's got the little flap, and then it does have the fold out in the center. I don't know where it went to. Oh, right here, not the center, but it's got the fold out. I mean, how fun is that? I mean, look at that. Now, I haven't colored in it. Why haven't I colored in it? Because I was too scared. Everything I was buying, I was too scared to color in it. And I was like, oh, girlfriend, what is up with you? Just get something. But when you look at this one, look at how itsy bitsy teeny weeny these are. I mean, let me see. Let me get my pen. So I'll get my little tip so that you can kind of see like size wise. Look how itty bitty teeny weeny these are. I mean, is that just like, wow. And that's a big piece. What if I were to do this little itty bitty one right here? I mean, oh my gosh, so tiny. So this one kind of scared me, but it kind of got me started in the right direction. And then that is when I picked up, I think it was this one, Worlds of Wonder. You can probably tell because look how my hands all over it and all of that. This one is where I really began to try to practice. This was actually this was, I think, my first, this was my first page that I ever colored in a Joanna Basford. And I had, this was the set of Prismacolors. And for first time out, I was like, well, that's not bad. Too bad I couldn't have stayed this good. I'm not really sure, but I think it was because they were tiny. The tinier okay, not that tiny, but this tiny is the good amount of tiny. So when I was coloring this and then she decided to come out with the small victories, I was like, that's so crazy because I've been saying I love these little teeny pictures because as you're first learning to color, trying to take on a big picture can be so overwhelming and so daunting. So it was kind of good timing because that's when I moved into this book. And this is the book that I really have spent the majority of my time in. But this book, I love this book. And I have a second copy of this because someday when I finish this, I would like to, maybe revisit again and see what pages do I do better on. Maybe I don't do as good on some pages. But this is just a really fun book. Again, if you are new to coloring, The Worlds of Wonder, I think, is a great beginner's book, or again, The Small Victories. This one obviously has tiny, tiny little pictures, so you're not overwhelmed. There's enough tutorials out there to kind of get you going. And I think, was this the one? Oh dear. Oh, me and my books. I think this was the one. I loved that one. I think this was the one. Was this? Let me see. I don't want to say it unless it was. I enjoyed that one too. That was a fun little color. But I think this may have been the one that when I was still kind of struggling. I wasn't sure what I was doing, trying to figure out this coloring game. And okay, so it must not be this book. Okay, must not be this book. So at any rate, I bought this book and I would very much like to be able to color in it this year. I think my skill set is there. The reason why I'm willing to color in it is because not only did I do this, never colored in it, I bought a second one. Why? Because it was on sale. Oh my goodness gracious, the silly things I do in coloring. So this one I liked. It was on sale. Pulled it out. They have the little fold out that unfurls. So that was kind of fun to have that. I love it because it has the little flap, but it was truly because of the fact that it had the spiral bounding. A lot of times all the time, I color on the couch or my chair, and I like to be able to take this and to be able to flip it back on itself and kind of make it a little bit smaller to color. So now I have 2 Lost Oceans and neither of them have I colored in. So this year, 2025, I want to begin. I got to pick one. I'm not sure which one it's going to be. It might be this one, it might be that one, but I'm going to start coloring in one of them. Then I bought the Magical Jungle. This one, I like it. It's a little simpler, a little bigger, a little simpler as far as it's not as technical as some of these others. The colors in this are going to be pretty much every shade of green. And so I will probably do Prismacolor in this and get a second set of the greens, like the open stock of the greens, and just start really enjoying and having fun with this book. So I've got that coloring book. Then I have The World of Flowers. This one, I haven't started coloring in this one. Now this one does not have the flap. I guess they stopped doing that, but it did have like the little fold out. But The World of Flowers, everybody likes to color flowers. I'm not so sure I like to color flowers. I'm still out on whether I like to color flowers or not. But I thought, well, this would be a great way to find out, will I like to color all flowers? Obviously most of her books have flowers, but I really have not even had a chance to look at this book. Is that shameful? How horrible it is. Such a beautiful book, and I have not taken the time to go through. Now these, I love these type. Why? Because it's just like, hey, color this today, color that tomorrow. But then I sit and go, oh, I fiddle. Well, what color? Will the color, if I color this down here, will it match over here? You just have to do it. So anyway, look at that grape. Hey, you know what? We had a color along and there were a lot of flowers. And look, some of these flowers are from over there. Well, I should probably revisit this book and really take a look at it. Won't do it now, but I do have World of Flowers. Then The Secret Garden. Now I was not, oh, pardon me, so sorry. I was not around for the original one, and this was the 10-year anniversary. Some people said there's a couple of extra pages in here that are different. Now, they did in the edition have kind of this, it's the book, then they have the dust cover, which acts kind of like the fold out. So this is a true dust cover. In my mind, this is what a dust cover is. It actually covers the entire book. And it does have kind of the, looked like there was a fold out in this one. Yeah, right here. There's the fold out, which is right here. So The Secret Garden, I never had this before. Like I said, I wasn't here for the first one. Some of these, whoo, they're going to be, I mean, you look at some of these, they're really, there was one back here. Where was it? I went by it so fast. But they're small, you know, they're really small. And for that intricate work, I think on those days that you really want intricacy, I think these are perfect. That's kind of intense. That's almost like a mandala a little bit. This is cute too. So at any rate, this is another great book. If you weren't around for the original Secret Garden, I believe you can still pick up that special edition, and it's fun to have in your collection. Rooms of Wonder. This is another great one. So like I said over here for, let's see, which one was it? Worlds of Wonder or Rooms of Wonder, or again, kind of Small Victories. Those would be the ones, beginnerish, that there's enough out there. I love this book. It's a great book. I don't have as much colored in it as some of the others, but oh, this was the book. This was the book that I did a color along. And I'm sure once you see this, you know exactly whose color along this is. But oh man, I messed that up every single time. Karen's Colorful Country Creation, or Karen's Country Collection, Karen's Country World. Oh, Karen's Colorful Country Life. That's what it is. Okay, whew. That was a little bit around the world, but I was truly struggling, and I've said this before. I was really struggling on what's going wrong, what's happening. And when I took her color along on this is what gave me the base. I'm like, oh, okay, so you do and can press kind of hard. Now, if you have Prisma and you're using that, sometimes this is what happens. Like, you lose your little tips. And I started keeping track because the one set that I had back in the day, I've had twice as much as this. So I was just curious. So when you press really hard, sometimes you're going to break your leads. But this is really what solidified and said, okay, I started to get really depressed. I was starting to get frustrated. So again, this is a great book. Any of the last books, so her most recent one, this one, The Worlds of Wonder, or The Small Victories, I think these are great beginner. There's enough for everybody in here. It handles this. This was Inktense. It can handle just about any kind of medium. And there's enough color along, there's enough everything, and the paper is really, really nice. And so I would really recommend that. Then I'll move these out of the way. I saw this, and I mean, who doesn't just absolutely love Lulu Mayo? I only have two of hers. I have the sea creatures and the mermaids. Well, of course, I'd have the sea and the mermaids. But these are the only two that I have, and I really love the paper on this. This paper lends itself really nicely. This is the Brute Fruiner squares. You can see how bright and colorful they are. It lays down very nicely on the paper. I love this. This is a great little coloring book. It can take a little bit of water. This was water. It takes a little bit. And these were some watercolors over here. Markers, you're going to want to test those. You're definitely going to want to test those out. But like your Sparkle Pops and things like that, you're going to be okay. Now this was a marker. These were watercolor markers and they did not bleed through. And that was a purple and it didn't bleed through. But I would go back to your little, oh, this one doesn't have a tester page. Well, let's see about the front. Let's see if there's well, okay, you know what? Maybe make this your tester page because, do you care if this gets a little bit? Use this to test out on. So I have these two. I love the little mermaids. I really haven't colored. I think I've only colored one. Yeah, I only colored one in here. Oh, two. Well, one and some. But so for mermaid this year, mermaid, I will do that. Put that in my collection. So a fun little book. I would really, really recommend that. It's a darling little book. The next one is Circle of Life. I've talked about this one. It's one of my favorites. This one I wouldn't say I'm almost done, but I have colored quite a bit in this book. And I really have I'm really kind of, as I say, rounding home. I love this book. It's a great beginner book. In my opinion, these are all my opinion, by the way. I think this is a great beginner book. Again, the paper is really nice in here. The shading in here is really nice. If you're a beginner, where it's dark, you put your dark. Where it's light, you go a little light. So it helps you in your shading. And they really are pretty pictures. As I've said time and time again, they make you look better than you really are. This is Inktense and it worked great. Now this is Inktense with alcohol. Oh my gosh, my brain. The alcohol blender. And it could take this. This over here was felt tip, kind of like those Flair old time felt tip markers, the little thin ones, and it worked well. The paper took it just fine. It didn't bleed over, so I was like, okay. But this book is it's really good. It can take, of course it can take the glitters. I was looking to see on one of these. Okay, so this one I did use Prisma on that. Okay, so on one of them, I thought I had done markers, but maybe I didn't. But the Inktense work really nice on this. I did a little bit of marker here. That's what it was. I did watercolor or water-based markers, and they're dark and it didn't bleed through. So great paper. They work really well. I think, again, for me, it makes me look like a better colorist than I am. And so I really appreciate that book. The next set, Kirby. Now, I know that for some people, let me move some of these books around. Kirby, it can be very daunting. At first, when I got a Kirby, guess what? I didn't color in it. I know, shock and surprise, I didn't color in it. But through time, I've learned, and let's see, I'll go through when I find it. So this one I think I picked this one up at Barnes & Noble and it was on their sales rack. And I was like, okay, I'll get this. And it's his compilation. So some of them are from his way older books that I don't have. I think on some of these, they have these little, I don't know what they are. These little ghost blobbies. I don't know what they're called. And I think you had to hunt for things or something. I'm not really sure because, again, I wasn't really around during that time frame. I should probably know that by now. But the compilation book, these are the best of the best added in. Look at this one, the diver. This would be, that would be so beautiful. And I don't know why it's the ocean is blue, but I would want to color this blue. I don't know why blue is sticking out to me, but I would want to paint. I would want to color or ink tint that. So again, a great book. I haven't colored in it yet. So at any rate, that's another great book. This was the one. Okay. So Mythic World. This was the first one that I purchased. Let me see. No, I think I'm lying. I think I picked this one up first, Fragile World. So, and of course, did I color? Nope, sure didn't. Because I got it and it scared me. Then I saw this one and I was like, okay, I picked it up and that's when I saw Inktense and I was like, I want those. So I bought the Inktense at the same time I bought this book because I thought, you know what? Inktense would work really well with this book. And the first thing that I paint or colored with in this book and with the Inktense is the back page. And that is when I fell in love with Inktense with Kirby. To me, it was like Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. When peanut butter met chocolate, kaboom! And at least for me, this is where I really enjoyed my creativity. Even though it may not be great, but this is where my creativity, I was like, I enjoy this. This is super fun. I'm having a great time. I had picked up the King Art gel sticks, and this one has like I think it's called Crater or something. I can't remember what it's called right now, but I don't know if you can pick it up, but it has just a little bit, just a hint of glisten glitter. But that is when I was like, okay, this book doesn't scare me as much. And that is when I began just going in and having fun with this coloring book. This was in October of this year, but just really having fun in the book because this to me, I don't know what it is. It just lends itself, for me, it lends itself very nicely. I'm not as scared of this book. This was my second one that I did. It doesn't scare me as much to be in this book working with Inktense. Pardon me. No, I lied. That was my second one. I just enjoy Inktense in this book. And so what will happen is as you go through your coloring, you will find books where for you, your skill set, your technique, the things that you love, the things that you naturally just fall in love with will be a match. To be honest, I've never colored in a Kirby with anything other than Inktense. So maybe in 2025, I will try a different medium. I don't know. So Fragile World, never colored in it yet, but oh, how would I love to. Worlds Within Worlds. I like this book. It is kind of weird. Like, okay, so I did this one, Inktense also, but this one had like things growing out of their bodies, which doesn't bother me, but I was like, okay, like it was different. It was kind of just different. Different doesn't have to be bad. But isn't that just so funny? So at any rate, this is a book that I love, but I think I gravitate more towards the Mythic World and the Fragile World. And then when I got this one, I do believe I have a book review. Alien Worlds, when it first was out, I was like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden I saw something on Pinterest and I was like, well, duh. Like, why would you not buy this? Like, why didn't you buy this? So literally, I think I just bought this a couple of months ago and it's been out for like a year. And I have no idea why it took me so long to buy this book because Inktense and your aliens, you could do any color you want. But again, I kind of let fear, which I've always let fear run and ruin my life. So I thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to do this. Now I haven't had a chance to color in it yet, but any color, you cannot go wrong. Nobody's going to look and go, Nixie, this blah, 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 whatever this is, that's not the right color. Really? Like that doesn't even, well, I hope it doesn't exist. I hope it doesn't exist anywhere. This is where your creativity could just run and have fun. Now, creativity and fun isn't always something that I was born with naturally, but it is something that I'm practicing and something I'm trying to learn. But you could do these any color, anything you want. And so this is one that I'm hoping that maybe in 2025 I will kind of pick up on. This one is intriguing. It's kind of a bigger one. So like everybody kind of knows the size of a Kirby. So, it's a little bit, it's probably an inch and 2 inches. Maybe it's 2 inches and 2 inches, a little bit bigger than a Kirby. This has really great paper in it, but itsy bitsy teeny weeny. I don't know if there's a yellow polka dotted bikini anywhere in here, but if we found it, we could color it. So this isn't a book that I've colored in yet, but it is definitely one that I want to. I'm thinking Inktense. I think the paper could handle it. Or a watercolor or water soluble something would lend very nicely to it. Fine liners might do very well with it. Also, the hard part is you just want to make sure it doesn't bleed through. But the architecture on this would be fun to do because it's almost like, like this building would be one color and another color. The cityscapes, you're doing it more watercolor, not so fine detail. Now, I suppose you could do fine detail if you wanted. But this is a coloring book I've yet to be able to color in yet, but it is definitely one that I do want on my horizon. I mean, look at that one. It's daunting, but if you break it down, I'm going to color just this building right here. And it's like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to have this whole city look gray. Okay. You do all the different gray tones, some light, some dark, play with the shadows. All those people out there where you're super creative and you know how to work with color and you know how to do that, you could make this look beautiful. For me, it's going to be straight block. It's going to be straight block coloring. There's going to be no gradient of sunlight coming through or anything like that, at least for a while. So this is a very unique and unusual, not a normal coloring book, but it is definitely one that I want to take advantage of. So that's the front of it. And there's the back of it. All those really fun, bright colors can be had. And I just hit my camera again, and I apologize for that. I'm going to take a really quick sip of my tea. Hold on. Okay. Then these are kind of like the different ones. A little bit of Mandela. Not in too much, like I'm not really into that, but I am trying to learn, trying to expand my horizons a little bit. I'm trying to look outside of the things that I would naturally feel comfortable. Not that I want to give up with what I would naturally want to color, but I do want to learn to appreciate other things. And so I have, as you've seen a couple of my flip throughs, I am beginning to learn how to love doing these. I think they work better when I go to my Sarah Renee. I have her color block system. I'll pick out a color. I might go to the color, go to a random, Google's random optimizer thing, and I'll put 1 to 500 and hit the spin. And then whatever it comes up with, that's the color. I don't cheat. I don't do anything. I just go with it and be like, okay, I'm done. This one is stress relieving. It kind of is very fiddly. It's a lot of fun, but this, because they're single-sided, and this is good paper, like it's not bad paper, but it's single-sided, so it could handle the ink tints, it could handle your alcohol markers. Make sure you always put something behind it when you do your alcohol. It's more outside of my realm, but it is something that I want. It was a gift that was given to me this year by a really close friend. This year I was diagnosed with 2 more cancers. I'm good for right now, and that's the reason why, another reason why I color. It is a good escape. When you're feeling kind of down and kind of depressed and you're not feeling your total happiness that you want to feel, for me, coloring is a good place to come back and kind of get away from the world. It's also fun when you're celebrating too. Like, it's like, oh, I'm so happy, I want to do this. But sometimes when you're just kind of like, oh, I'm down in the dumps, turning to coloring is really fun. And something like this, you can pick a color combination, go to Instagram. If you've got Sarah Renee Clark's color cube, if you've got a color book, you pick it and just go with it. It just have fun with your coloring. Again, it's just paper. It's not that serious. Just have fun with it. This one, oh my goodness gracious. It's Margaritaville. And when we go on vacation and we're going to go like, I don't know, someplace where like, it's like the pool is kind of small or something like that. And I'm not going to color like a big color. I do have a small tin that's about this size of Prismacolors. And it's just fun. I mean, it's just a cute little coloring book. Um, I don't even know where I got this, to be quite honest with you. Um, Probably on Amazon, I would think. I've done a couple pages, but then I rip them out when I'm done. So it's fun. You just kind of fold it. You got this. It came with a little CD, so if you wanted, you can play it. But when we go someplace where we're just going to be in for a little bit, at the poolside, I can do this. If I go to a doctor's office, sometimes I'll take this with a small, that small tin, and it's fun to do. This was my first finished completed page or book, and that was The Enchanted Faces. So it was this book right here. And like I said, as soon as I was done, I immediately went on and I got the secondary copy. The reason why I did that is because, like I said in my last one, I want to try better paper. I love Hannah Lynn. I love her art. A lot of us have it. I think, again, it is a really good beginner, but pencils are not your friend in the book. You are best, again, this is just my opinion, you're better off using markers. You have more success. The color, you're not seeing white underneath your pencils. So for me, right now, at least with my skill set, I can't really get pencils to work all that great. So that's a fun little thing to be able to go and buy the secondary book, which I have secondary books, but I bought them that way. I didn't finish one and then went out. This one, I am struggling in this one, but I do want to attempt it. I didn't get the Christmas one done, so I'm going to move that in. I thought this was the mini one, and so big kind of scares me. And again, I'm hoping this one makes it into 2025 because I want to get past the scary part of it. I did try it. I lost the pen. So I'm like, oh, what do I do with the hair up here, with the hair down here? And I haven't quite figured that out. So that might be a wrecking ball. So I have whips, wonderings, and wrecking balls. The wrecking ball just goes to the trash heap. This may end up in the trash heap. So at any rate, oh, and the other thing, I love this one. I love how she does these little teenies in the front of the book. I wish that she could compile, is that the right word? Yeah, compile, curate, whatever, a book that had this size, or maybe even one, maybe a little bigger, because I know not everybody likes. So here it is, I say, I don't like the teenies, but then I love the teenies in these. Don't ask me why, I don't know. These teenies are okay. Those teenies aren't, I don't know. But wouldn't this be fun if for all of her books, but I guess you could just go buy all of her books and you've got them all. Okay, that was silly of me. But I still think it would be cute if she were to compile a whole book of all of her girls in the little teenies. I don't know. Maybe I just need to go buy all of her books and make my own, like tear them out, make my own book. But I do like to color the little, I call them the teenies. I like to color the little teenies. I think they're fun to do. Sometimes I'll even write the colors so that if I like it here and I want to go duplicate it back in this book, I've got my color combinations. Apparently I didn't do that there. So anyway, super fun book. I love Hannah Lynn. She's a really fun artist. And if I were going to get more books this year, I might want to I just have to go on and figure out. I do want the mermaid. I think she's got a mermaid one that I haven't done yet. And I should probably go get that one. I got to put a note to myself to go do that. So Grimm Fairy Tales. I love these books. They're a little sassy, a little spicy, a little outside. They're nothing horrible. I did post one time, oh my gosh, and everyone's like, you're fine. And I'm like, okay. I love these books. The paper is okay. It's okay paper. I would say it's better than copy paper, but it's definitely not Kirby Joanna Basford paper. But they're single-sided, so you can do markers Pencils work fine on this. Like they really, oh, Christmas time, and I missed the Nutcracker. Ah, bummer. Um, but let's see. I have colored in this one. I did Inktense in this. I believe I did Inktense this year. Yes. So this is Inktense. It does curl a little bit. I did the alcohol activator. I didn't use water. But I love these books. And then in this one, I have used pencils. Oh, well, that was Pencil Pop. These were markers. These were highlighter markers. I kind of want them to be kind of sketchy looking. And so sometimes highlighters kind of give you that sketchy look. Now, this was done with Prisma pencils. And so pencils work really good on this. They blend nicely. They do well. That's another one. This was all, pretty sure this is Prisma. I don't believe this one was Brute Pruner Square. So pencils work really good. Now, the alcohol markers, I mean, obviously they're going to bleed through. Just put, your protector behind. So it did well with the markers. This is all pencil. And then the sparkle pops. Sparkle pop here, sparkle pops here. They work great in this book. I really, for it not being paper that's high end, at least you can get the colors to move. Again, this is a whip. I haven't really finished it. I almost kind of like it the unfinished look up here a little bit. But then I'm like, well, am I being lazy and being like, oh, I don't want to finish it? I mean, I do want to finish it, but I kind of like how it just goes here. Maybe just do the moon. I'm not sure. So, but I like this book. It's great for pencils. Pencils work really, really good in here. So if you're looking for something that's extra fun, go pick up a couple of these. They're really good. You get them in Amazon and they are a ton of fun. Now this one, if you've been on my channel's not been around for a long time, but this was the first book that I kind of looked at and did a flip through. I really am enjoying this book. The paper is really incredibly nice. This time, if you want to know what Brute Pruner squares look like, if you go to my completed pages for December, all of my December was Brute Pruner square or water markers or water markers. Is that right? Water markers. I don't think I'm saying that right. But this is a great book. It's super fun. If you have not seen this yet, I just did this one. This is probably one of my favorite pages. It can handle just about everything. It handles the sparkle pops. It handles markers. Let's see. Inktense work great in this. Now Inktense, let's see. I did a little test on Inktense. So this was the alcohol. That was alcohol. And this was water. So these are Inktense, activated with alcohol, activated with water, and you can see the back. There's really no difference on the back. And there's that. Oh, I was practicing on a water marker and it didn't come through. Now it's hard to tell because, her background and her face is kind of there, which I'm glad she didn't get a little red cheek. But they tend to do pretty good over here. These were markers that I used and they did not bleed over onto the side. But again, with markers, always test them. Fun book. I'm really going to enjoy coloring this in 2025. And last year, this was the first year that I've ever had hardback books. So that was my first hardback book. When I bought that, I was like, oh, I've seen some Hanna Karlzon that pops up in my Amazon. So these were the two that I bought, the Jewelry Box and the Daydream. These were books that I wasn't sure that I really wanted, and only because if you followed me for any length of time, feather, fur, skin, hair, gems, jewel, metals, eyes, oh my, all of that. These are a little bit more, I wouldn't say advanced, but I guess they are for me, they're advanced because I don't know, I mean, this is everything. Hair, ooh. gems, jewels, metal, eyes, skin. There's just a lot of skill set that goes into these books, which is no problem. I mean, 2025 is going to be about leveling up. As I've said, level up and just start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. So I started kind of doing a little, I mean, it's not great on gems, but you do have to start somewhere. And so I thought, well, what a great book, but kind of the jewel box for the gems, jewels, hair, all of that. Daydream. Now, Daydreams didn't seem to have as much skin in it. Like I went through and I was counting all the pages that had skin, had people in it. And this one had the fewer of them. And that's why I bought it. I'm okay with skin now. I just get a Copic marker and be done with it. I haven't done anything outside of that. You know, no shadow, no shading, no anything. But this one is very heavy on the gems and the jewels, the metal, fur. So these are all face, skin, hair, nails. I mean, look at the little frog. So this is really going to be a book that really kind of takes me to the next level. And it's time. I've been coloring now for about 3 years on a fairly consistent enough basis that it's time to take it to the next level. And instead of going for the easy color, block coloring, I'm not nearly, well, I'm still stressed, but I'm not as stressed as I once used to be. I can take my time, try to, okay, the light source is coming. Okay, the light source is coming from here. Okay, shadow, learn how to shadow a little bit. Where on this, I would have just normally just gone through and just been like, take my time and learn how to do those colors. So these are books I definitely want to take into 2025 with me. The next set, these are kind of like just a holiday edition. So this is a great book. I got this a couple years ago, and I would love to get in here because this paper is amazing. I mean, that is amazing. This can handle everything. It's single-sided. It is watercolor. That's what this is what it's for, is watercolor. So the Inktense, my other little ones that I just bought. So this is just super fun. The little gnomes. I mean, isn't that just so cute? Like, and this year I really wanted to color in it, but I didn't have enough water-based. This was the one I wanted to color. So for next year, I definitely want to do it. But this is one of those where it was an individual artist. The pages in it are just beautiful. Then I've got my autumn color house book. I've done a couple of this. It's got a Christmas book. I really love these. I've had so much fun. I do like the little fiddlies, but you don't have to go long on fiddlies. You could use King Art gels, the pens, or yeah, the King Art gels where you put it down and then mix it on there. So that would be really fun. Then more for Halloween was the Harry Potter book. I love this book. It's fun. This is probably going to be, I've got this and maybe one other book. This is specifically, I know it's Harry Potter, but I kind of treat it more like Halloween. But these are, fall and Halloween. That's good enough for me. It gives me enough to kind of get that feel. And I have to say, doing fall, Halloween, Thanksgiving, into fall, and then into Christmas. January, I'm just gonna color whatever I want to color because I loved it, but I'm a little bit there. This is another great book. This is Prisma. It works great. Those Prisma colors come through. This is Inktense. There was something wrong with the pen that I was using to activate, so it was going very splotchy. This is a great book. Villains, Disney. It's got great pictures. Paper is really super smooth. And this was Albert Door's water solubles on here. They worked great. They didn't go through except for the hands and the face because that is where I was testing for the Copic marker. So I really like that book. It's super fun. Then I got this year, I'm going to go through these quick because we just reviewed these. My Color Me Christmas, Really love this. The other one is the Texas. They're super fun. They're single-sided, so you could do pretty much anything. Just make sure you put your liner behind. Pencils work okay on this. I will show you one. I just did it for my finished pages for December. This is Brute Fruner Square. I thought they did pretty good. Are they super vibrant and super there? No, because I was kind of going for a softer version, but also Brute Fruner doesn't really layer so much. But I just had such a fun time with that. This is a great book. Again, single-sided, it would work well. There's not a whole lot of, it is fairly smooth. Would you want to color with Copics on this? No. Oh, hoo, sure. Any of the budgetary? Absolutely. You'll have so much fun on that paper. Then this Christmas one, this was my first one from Teresa Goodridge. I've had Creative Haven before, but not a Teresa Goodridge. This is super fun, as you can tell. Now, this was, I guess these must have been alcohol. For some reason, I was thinking these were water, but they must have been alcohol because they bled all the way through. So again, just make sure you have through, the paper is thin, but again, if it's thin and it has this, it works. There is that debate. And like I said, I am a paper snob, even though I say paper, it's not, don't worry about it. I am starting to photocopy and use some other paper. There was a technique that's been around for a while where you use the marker and then go in and use your pencil. And that's a really good way because then you get your pencil look and you're not fighting trying to get the white out of your paper. And I do feel sorry for a lot of these artists because it is really, really expensive to print and go to publication. I mean, think about what the publication is on something this is hardback. It has the binding, separate binding. I mean, you look at the spine and how this one is put in. It is done in, I forget what somebody said, but these are all booklets. It's all, this one's not hand. Yeah. So, it's hand bound in there, or not hand bound, but sewn bound instead of glue bound. This is a lot of money. Like, you have to go to product. Now, I don't know. I don't know that much about the printing world, but I'm not completely a moron. Well, it's debatable from some people you talk to in my life, but I am assuming that when you do all of this and you have to go to print and say, okay, I want to print 25,000 books or 10,000, maybe it's 10,000 books. Okay, well, that has to be all done up. It has to be printed and paid. If they don't sell 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 books, they hold on to this in their inventory for a while. So when you're doing something like this, where I think this is an Amazon, was this an Amazon? Okay, so this one may not be an Amazon print paper, but the Amazon print, well, it's a print on demand. So for the poor artists that are out there that we absolutely love their artwork, they are really caught between a rock and a hard place because they don't have that ability to print 5, 10, 15, whatever, however many thousands you have to print and get them to the print that you need to be able to sell them. It's a double-edged sword, and I get it. If I were an artist, I'd probably be the same way. It'd be like, well, sorry guys, for a while, you're going to have to print it out on your own. You got to fight the battles that you can fight. And right now, I just want to have fun, so I kind of don't care so much. So this is from that original artist. This is watercolor paper. Super cute. Again, it's the gnomes. These are really cute. Look how darling that is. So this year, like I said, I was able to get Inktense. I was able to get I think I have like 6 of the Albert Dürer water. And then I bought the budget set of watercolors or water pencils or water marker pencils, whatever they're called. So I'm going to have fun next year being able to color in that. The festive coloring, again, it's the little house. It's super fun. And then the Christmas coloring book. This one's really hard. I didn't color in it this year just because everything was like white. like white. Everything was like really, really white. So next year will be the fun year. I think those pages are going to do very well with the gel sticks. I just have the ones from King Art. I'm not really sure what other, I know there's other ones. I just don't know who they are. Your gouaches and those type of things. This set, I'm going to go pretty quick because I just reviewed these about a week ago. These were the ones that I got for Christmas. Super fun. Like I said, I'm struggling to know whether I should color directly in these, so I'll be working through that. I really love Eerie. I've seen these. It's so fun to be able to have these, learning how to color in those. And let's be honest, life is short and you should just color and have fun. So those, again, those are the four Eerie's that I have. I know there's others. I might try to fill them in if I can this year. And if I can't, well then, you know what, I'm just going to be happy with what I've got. When it comes to Mythographics, I have 3. I think 3 is going to be good for me. I say that right now, but who knows what changes. Wild Winter. I loved this winter book when I was thumbing through it at Walmart. I was like, wow, this is really cool. The paper is really nice. It's single-sided. I've not had a chance to color on it yet, but my guess is that it's soft, but it has just a slight little bit of tooth. So I'm assuming pencils are going to be okay. Your fine line markers your fine liners are going to be what you need on the heavy details, but just a really fun, I would not say they're Kirby, but a lot of people I think could see where it's just a different feel, and I like both of them. Like I really, really, I mean, isn't that just so pretty? Having the skill set to be able to paint or color or paint or whatever this to where it's nature looking, but then it looks like they're actually looking into the water. I'm not even sure how to do that. So fun book. I'm looking forward to getting the coloring skill set that I need to maybe color in that. Then the deep blue, because Mermaid is coming, and who doesn't love to live in the ocean? I love to live in the ocean. I love to live in the lake. I love to live in a pool. I love to live wherever there is water. So I really want to try this summer to really delve into this book and just everything. I've been through this book a couple of times. I'm really excited about it. And then for Christmas, I received the Artist Vault. This one is really cool. You've all seen it before. Great pictures, super fun. I wasn't sure if I was going to color in it or not. And you know what? I'm just going to color in it. I'm just going to color in it. I'm going to have fun. Oh, I just love it. I'm just going to color in them and have fun. I'm going to relax. I'm going to enjoy and just have fun with my coloring time. Then we are rounding third and coming on home to the ends of the earth. I got to pull this one out just a little bit. I did a flip through of it. And when I went into editing, I hated it so badly that I trashed it. So I might do it again, but this is super fun. The whole idea of this is that this unfurls like this, and it goes 17 feet. So it starts off with a white sky and goes to a dark sky. It's very cool. The intricacies on this are amazing. I would kind of compare it a little bit to, what is that one? I really want, the book that I really, really want is the Wonder Gore. Is that what it is? I'd have to look it up. But it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. You guys saw this. We did our little tour of the oxalots. How fun was that? Now that I know what these are, I see them everywhere. The reticular activator has been turned on in my brain, and now that I know what it is, I see them. I see them everywhere now, and didn't realize that I had seen them before until that. You guys saw this. This is the Color Me Texas, another fun little book, single-sided, would work great for markers, and pencils work okay. I would say if I'm going to color in this, or when I do color in it again, this was pencils, and they did good, but you can only get so much pencil down on this. So I think For like light coloring, just, just that really fast fun. I don't really care. I don't need it to look picture perfect. I think pencils work great in this book. But I do think the markers could make it pop a little bit more in that. So I'm looking forward to having that. This one was a creative heaven that I found at Joann's, and it's around the world and it's color by number. It was one of my first coming out the gate. I bought this one last year, but the paper in this is really good. So I'm beginning to think maybe it had been sticking around for a while and that's why it was on sale. I mean, I picked this up for like, I don't know, I think it was like $3 or something, but the paper feels so much better than the new Creative Haven. So I don't know if I really bought it for this one. I mean, isn't that gorgeous? Well, I don't even know if you can see that. It's so light. Let me bring it up. So it's like Hawaii. I don't even know if you can see that. So that's another one that is super fun. It's a color by number. I don't know if I'm into color by number so much. Then I tried these. So this is like for markers. This is when I first started doing markers. I was like, well, okay, I'll try one of these. And you know what? These are a fun, fast, quick little color. The markers do splotch a little bit. Wow, that's really bright, isn't it? If you weren't awake before, you are awake now. I had fun with this. Learning how to color on this paper and getting your pencil. I mean, the water-based markers don't work hardly at all. The alcohols definitely work better on this paper. That's pencil. I don't recommend pencil at all. So this is a fun little color. I'll do the watercolor, the water-based markers, because it's just a fast fun. I don't want to be serious. I don't want to think. I don't want to be worried about color. I just want to color and just be like done. Not done, but you know what I mean. So that's a fun little book. Of course, it's ocean, and so I love it. This was Jade Summer. So I had bought a couple of Jade Summers oh my gosh, this is so funny. I bought a couple of Jade Summers this summer. Well, fancy that. And this one is the Beach House coloring book. And this was super fun. Now, the pencils, they don't blend very well on this paper, but you know what? For some reason, I'm kind of okay with it with this picture. I don't know why. It doesn't seem to bother me the way it does on others. But again, this would lend itself it's the thinner paper, which again, I'm okay with. I set my expectations properly. I didn't buy a Ferrari, I'm not buying a Ferrari here, but the artwork on some of this is so cool. I never thought I'd want to do like interiors or things like that, but I was like, that could be a lot of fun. The exterior housing, just super cute. Little cute. A kitty that gets to live by the ocean. When I come back in my second life, third life, fourth life, 100th life, I want to be a kitty by the ocean. But just a fun little book. I'm not going to go through it too much, but super fun. Again, markers are going to be best on this, and I've been having a fun time with that. These I bought this summer. So I did buy the mermaids. Yes, I know the mermaids are in here. What I didn't know is that you get 2 sets. So I had bought this so I could get a second set, and now I have 3 sets, but that's okay. So super fun, very thin paper again, but that's okay. There's no double-sided. Markers are going to be best. It is fun to have the ability to have markers, to be able to do something a little bit different. When I first started, I did just pencils only. And in the last couple of months, I've started to try to move into markers a little bit. It's different, but it's fun. And I think it's good to have books that go with those mediums. And I know that can be kind of hard. This is a great one. I would recommend this one because you get all of them. You get the mermaids, you get the fairies, you get the Draculas, and you also get the dragons with the princesses. And it's just a fun standard paper with them. It's cute. I'm not too worried about their skin. It's a fast, easy color. The book was fairly inexpensive. If you don't know, sadly, this is what a nixie is. Nixies look like this. This is what mermaids look like. That's a nixie. And sirens, well, you know what a siren looks like. But most people didn't know this is what a nixie is. This, sadly, is what we look like. We don't care. We're nixies. We love the ocean. Now, these are the last three. And I have to say, I hate to say that I ever regret anything because I try not to regret things. And of course, I don't want to bash the creators and the makers and everything. But I kind of, in a way, I loved this mermaid and I loved the way these fish, it's the paper. The paper is just not good. And of course, they're double-sided. So you're there. It's really awkward because this is so heavy that I'm like, I'm not even sure what to do with that. I guess, yeah, it's crazy. And then there's this, but it doesn't really match that. And then you have this, and then she's missing her face. Like, why would she be missing her face? Like, why would you be missing your face? I don't get it. So the styles on these are kind of weird. It seems like it's a mismatch. It just seems to be having a little bit of an identity crisis. You know, it's like, they're okay. But I think where I was hoping to go is this kind, see, she's missing a face. Maybe that's just what it is. You're missing a face. And then I don't know what in the world, what in the world is this? You got bricks that are shapes of rocks? Like, I really don't get it. Like, you know, and maybe I'm just not creative enough. I don't know. I just, you know, I tried coloring one and I was like, well, okay. I mean, I kind of got past the black and I just went with it as far as my sparkle pops. I tried using the pencils. They kind of go okay. And, you know, I did more of the sparkle pop type thing. It's an okay, but I think where I really struggled with this book, like this one's kind of cute, but where I struggled, so this is your title page. The back of the book? Like, you got, what happened? Did you guys bind it wrong? Was it supposed to be bound over here? But I was trying to figure out how to get things to work on this. And when you look at this, the artwork presents something that's not in this book. Like, this book does not lend itself to the cover's artwork. And maybe that's why I'm a little disappointed in this. So I'm not so sure. This one may go away. I don't know. It's hard to throw a book away, but sometimes you just need to do it. Then I wanted to do like little houses. Amazon had shown this. This is crazy. And I bought this like a year or so ago. And I mean, I've colored in it, but it's the weirdest book. And at the time, I didn't know about AI. And then after I bought it, people started talking about AI. And I'm like, you know, I bet this book is AI. And the reason why is because there's crazy stuff in this book. Like, what's this? It's like a chick. Like, there's its face and its little beak and its big fat feather and another feather. But then is it a rock? I mean, what is going on in this? And then the other thing too is, what is this? Like, this cornice doesn't match that cornice. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, it's crazy. And then doesn't that look like a duck? Like a duck's bill? I don't know. So at any rate, I didn't understand what I was doing when I bought this book. It's crazy. The lines are dark. The lines are this. Butterflies don't look like they match. The tree is weird. I was going to throw it away. I guess I should have returned it. I didn't even think about returning it. And then I thought about throwing it away. Like, look at this. Tell me what this is. What is this? Like, What is this? And it's crazy. It doesn't match anything. And I thought, you know what? Go ahead and use the book as color combinations. Use it as a way to just kind of practice a little bit. I mean, look at this one. What in the world? It's as blurry as all get out and go. And what happened to this duck? Like, this book, I could not recommend this book to anybody. And then it's like, what happened? I mean, I understand that sometimes I like to be a little kid, but what is this? The stairs are here. This is all here. It looks like a kindergarten book. And then you got this. And then what in the world is that? So at any rate, you can see I'm not totally thrilled and happy with this. So, I mean, are you kidding me? Who thought this was a good idea? I wouldn't even give this to a 3-year-old to color. Like, I just wouldn't. It'd be like, wow. The poor child. I mean, it's blurry. Kids would think, oh, I need glasses. Now, this one's actually not too bad, but I don't know. So at any rate, I was very sorely disappointed. Whimsical Fairy Homes, do not buy it. It's terrible. The Magic of the Forest House. Now, I bought this because I loved the outside of this. And it was, let's see. So I did this one, and I've colored this one. And when I started coloring, at first I was like, okay, I just, I kind of flipped through it. And then I was like, what is with, like, when you go to color it, it's like, what is this? The chair is backwards. And then the chair, it's like, it is the craziest cray-cray. Like, what is going on? So sadly, I bought both of those. So I bought both of these at the same time. Again, when I bought it, I didn't know about AI. I've been practicing. And quite honestly, I think I'm going to pull this page out because that's what I bought it for. I thought this book would be more of like kind of this type of thing because it said the magic of the forest houses. Some of these are not forest houses. Like, that's not a forest house. That's not a forest house. That's a forest house. Not so foresty. But I'm okay. I mean, like, I'm okay with that. But you know what I mean. So I colored this one when I first got it. This was the first picture I colored. And that's when I realized, I was like, whoa. Yeah, I did that back on 4/10 of 23. So it's almost been a year. Well, not really a year, but coming on. So I think what I'm going to do is I liked this. Someday I would like to live in a place like this. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to rip this out. I'm going to throw this whole book away because life is short and you shouldn't have cruddy coloring books in your life. At least for me, I don't want a cruddy coloring book. I probably should have returned it. So outside of that, that is the end. That is the last of everything. I hope that you enjoyed this. We are going to end on a good note. We're not going to end, to the ends of the earth and back. Oh, glorious oceans. So this is my coloring book haul. No, not a haul. So sorry. Kind of an inventory. This is what's in my inventory. Some of these books are going to go away. The rest of them are going to stay. Today, I'm going to edit my videos that I've done, and then I'm going to decide which books I really want to focus in on for 2025. But they are going to kind of go with skin, hair, feather, furs, gems, jewels, metals, eyes. Oh my. It's going to be really moving my skill sets to the next level. The next video that I'm going to do is I'm going to do an audit of all of my supplies. Ooh, grande híjole. There's a lot. As I say, mucho grande híjole. There's so much in that I have to go through. There are things that I forgot I bought. And that's when you know you're done buying, because when you can't remember what you've purchased too much. But I'm going to take an inventory. I really want to start using all the things that I have, the things that I've been gifted. I don't want to color just with Prismas. So at any rate, again, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. And until next time, have a great coloring day. Bye-bye.